It's Don here from the board. Thanks for coming along and checking out this video. So this is the next part of my keyboard stand. So what we've done so far is we've set out some measurements, laid it out, and we've cut the two pieces, and I've tried it inside the house with a keyboard and made sure that in terms of its angle and its stability, it should be fine. So I've been thinking about how do I attach these together, and I had a bit of a harebrained idea to try and make a scissor mechanism. And so what I mean by that is where you would have some arms and it would be in an arrangement, something like this, and then it would be attached on the ends that would allow it to move and expand. Unfortunately, that didn't really work out. As you can see, I have a number of broken arms here because I don't have anything suitable as pins. I was trying to use some old nails and I was trying to hammer and pin them, and they just kept breaking these bits of plywood. So right now, that is just shelved for now, and we'll think about other alternatives. And the easiest alternative is really just a cross piece that will sit in here. So what we'll do is we will consider that, and we will do some measurements, some layouts, and try and put that together. So let's sharpen the pencil, do some measurements, do some layout, cut some plywood, and see how that goes. It's always nice to have a sharp-ish pencil for when we're starting to do some layout related things. Okay, let's get maybe we'll use this one, a little bit easier to lie it flat. So we kind of want it halfway along, and we know that this is about 120, so we'll mark it at 60 from the base as the middle point, which is there. Now we're going to be working with, I think, once again, the 12mm ply. So we'll go with 6mm on either side. So 5, 6, and 5 and 6. So that's where we're going to be. Now in terms of the depth, so at 90 degrees we're looking at 45 mils. We kind of want to go less than halfway, so I think 20 mil deep is probably a good amount of hold there. So that's where we're going to get to. So 20 mil, go 20 mil, and 20 mil. So what I'm doing here is I'm just marking out, and that should be 12 mil. Yep, that's pretty good. 12 mil is a slot. So I'm going to do kind of like a half lap. So we're going to try and cut this out, and then on a cross piece, not specifically this one because it's obviously not big enough, we're going to cut it halfway as well with a slot, and that way the 20 mil will slot in there, and it will cover across onto the other half of that at an angle. At least that is the idea. So what we can do there is we can actually tape these together again and make that cut with basically one set of cuts, in theory, hopefully, to make it a little bit easier. And this is a prototype anyway, so I'm not too fussed if it's not exactly perfect. So we will, first of all, get something kind of flattish that we can tape our two halves. Maybe this is a better. We just do a quick clamp. That way we have a little bit more consistency. obviously I'll fix that up once I take the clamp off. But, go for about maybe there-ish. Alright. Kind of like that. And that's just going to get clamped anyway when we actually cut it. That'll give me enough clamping position. I'll go with these ones. Since we're not doing a through cut, it doesn't really matter. And I think because that's going to give me enough depth on it, yeah, I can use my very small gent saw. I get my marking knife and we will mark some edges on this. Now we want to try and keep within these pretty tight. So maybe that edge. So I'm going to probably get the old chisel out and just mark a little bit of a curve on that, but I probably also want to just mark a line like that. That edge cover is not very good. Okay. Like that. And that will just help the first couple of passes of the saw sit on the inside edge of those lines rather than sawing directly on it, and that way we can actually trim it up if we need to. So, well, at least that's how the theory goes. So let's yeah, so with that edge we can kind of keep it in line, and as you can see it's on the inside of that line where we kind of want to be. Down towards the bottom now. That'll be pretty close, but is that going to be corny on the other side, which I don't know it is. Since I didn't mark it on the other one, but I think that'll probably be close enough. And then might be just on the line. It might be a little bit wide, but that's okay. Just hit that line on this side. There we go. All right, so now I think the difficult part is going to be chopping that that waste out. So what I should be checking is also that it is 20 mil deep on this side, which that one's good. And that one looks okay. Cool. So that's pretty good. I will need to chop them out separately because they're not going to really chop out. Oh, I suppose I could just stick it in like that. All right, let's get some blocks set up for that. Should be okay, and then I can clamp that to that. And I probably need well, the 13 mil is probably a little bit big. Where is this one? This one, tell me what it is. Is this a 6, 8? Not sure. Measure that. It looks like it's a 10 mil. Okay, so that should be all right. A mallet, then here's this one. There we go. Eye protection, people, is a good idea. Okay, just flip this one around. Stay off that bottom line for now. And we're through. Okay. So while that is still attached, we might as well sneak it in and try and clean up. It actually looks pretty good. Might be a little bit high on that side, but yeah, it's okay. Alright, let's check. Yeah, it's kind of square. surprisingly not too bad. Maybe just a little bit of bowing on this side. Yeah, alrighty. So we've got our slot cut, and now we can separate them, and then we'll need to cut a piece off that will act as our cross brace, and then that will fit into the slot, and hopefully it will hold okay. So now we will think about how long we actually want that to be. So don't have my %40 in here, but I have that's my 660C. What have I got this? Here's a 660 case. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? We're just going to cheat, and we're going to just use this Idyllic as a measurement, and we're going to put the inside and outsides to line it up with one that I know that kind of is perfectly fine. So if we consider that, hey Idyllic, thank you. So they've gone for inside and outside is, we'll call it 160. So we want to have a bit of 12 mil on the outside for a bit of strength. So it's that 160 plus 22. So that's what, 118. We'll call it 22, 180. Yeah, so we'll call it, we'll need a piece that's 180. So 18 centimeters wide is what we'll call it. I don't think that's going to cut it, so we can't use that off cut. So we're going to have to cut a new piece. Now this is just ply, but just thinking, do I have another piece that's a bit smaller that I won't have to hack up this one so much? But I don't think so. So I mean, that'll be more than plenty, and we need it to be that deep. So let's figure out what that is. Where's the other piece? There it is. We said it was 45, so we're going to go with 40. So we'll need it 40 wide. Let's unclamp this for the moment. Put that to the side because we're going to need it. Put that back. There was no cap for that one. We'll put them back for the moment. Clear some space so we can actually do this. So we'll set that to 40, and we will run it. Looks a little bit wonky, straight enough. Well, there we go. Line that up. Line that up. Put that over there for now. And we will clamp that. Started off with the gent saw, so we've got a bit of a groove happening, and then we can go in with the bigger one, so it actually has an idea about where it's going. There we go. Go. Had a little bit of blowout on the end there, but it's plywood. Okay. Let's put back on. All right. Let's that back. That off. Okay. Break the edge of that. It's not so bad. Okay, so we want 18 centimeters on this. We got 18 inches there. There. Which is like that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to mark a width like that. And then, well, that's a bit wonky, isn't it? That edge is not very square. That one's a bit better. All right, so now we want 20 mil on that. And then we need another line like this. So that's going to be cut out, and then it's going to sit in like that. That's how the theory goes anyway. Alright, so this is what we want to cut out. Just like that. So we'll go this way. That'll make it a little bit easier. We will mark it to that. Set some edges in. It's not perfectly straight, but that's okay. There's one done. Dot there, and then we can run it into the gap. I've just cut the edge of my ruler. The plastic coating. Well, that's not cool. I mean, it means how sharp this marking knife is, but my poor ruler. Now that bit's not going to have a very good potential evenness on it. Yeah, this is shaving that plastic coating off it. That's really interesting. Maybe it's going to rust now. Down to the line. There you go, right down to that line. All right, let's bring that block back up. And we'll chop. And it will fit. Here's my 10 mil. Well, we will do the same side before we flip it around and blow it out the other side. And that one obviously felt a bit more pressure. Oh, look at that. Oh no, that was just the saw lines. Okay. Go about there. Clean brake. Looks like it's got a little bit of an angle on it, but that's okay. That one definitely has a bit of an angle on it, but that's okay. And out that comes. Right. There we go. Cleaning it out. Get all the way down in. The problem is with plywood, you don't really know what direction the grain's going unless if you're paying a lot of attention to it. And because I painted it, the grain's going that way. So this way is okay to cut, this way could split it. So kind of need to just be careful about how I deal with that. Clean up like that. All right. So, yeah. It's a bit narrow on that one. And, oh, it's snug on that one. So it could potentially be a little bit wider, and that's okay. So we can open them up some by trimming it up like that. And this is kind of why we cut a little bit on the inside, and that allows us to sneak up on it. Look at that. Yeah. How good is that? How good is that? All right. I should probably pop that out if I can. It is so snug that I have to mallet it off, but that's okay. It's good to be snug. See, on this side I can see that I wasn't right up on the line. So that gives me a bit of space to basically clean that up. And kind of just get in some there. Just adjusting. I've got a cable attached to the back of the GoPro strap for power. I'm wearing a hoodie at the moment, and the battery pack is sitting in the pouch of the hoodie. Oh, it's still a bit tight at the front side. Oh, might have shaved off too much just then. Oh, where is it? Stopping. Obviously that wasn't enough. And there we go. Now we're in. That's really tight as well. Let's tighten that one. Oh, that one's a better fit. That one was the one that we had before. That was a fit. Yeah, look at that. Sweet! That is very solid. And that should hold all sorts of boards. So we just get the carcass of a 660. Look at that. How sexy is that? Very cool. All right. So now we just need to eject those pieces. Oh. Quickly saw this bit here. I'll saw on the outside now. Yep. Woo. And there is our cross piece. There is our cross brace. And what we can do with that is we can quickly give it a bit of a clean up on some of those edges. And then reassemble. So we'll just go with the ply up. There is a super basic, hand-cut, handmade, hand-fitted keyboard stand. Ah, how sweet does that seem? All right. Well, it works. It's very simple. I mean, it looks very rustic because it's made just out of ply. But it just goes to show something very simple, measured out with some hand tools. You can definitely make something really effective. And you know, the layers actually of the plywood is really nice. If you were to do this with some good quality ply, and then you know, sand and smooth off these surfaces, it would probably look a lot better compared to what I've got here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this clip here, and then I'm going to stitch up when I go back inside the house, and I will have it with the 40% and also my Filco, and we can see how that sits with those, and just have a quick wrap up. So we'll see you inside just in a second. All right, so I'm just using the headset mic at the moment instead of setting up the whole thing, because this is really just a last pat for the keyboard stand. So that is it. There it is in a bit more detail. It is not the straightest, because obviously when I cut these, the height positions, it might have been at an angle, not dead flat. But for a prototype, I think it's perfectly fine, not an issue. So in regards to size to a 40% keyboard, here is a 40, and there it is. So there's plenty of space there. Probably could have gone longer, honestly, but that's not really too big a deal. And then for the purposes of checking how that fits out against a 100%, ooh, focus. Hello? Give me some text. Maybe I'll use this. My daughter wrote a card kind of thing. Oh, come on. What are you doing? The camera focus is not happy right now. Let me see if I can turn off low light compensation. Okay. What doesn't have the contrast that it really wants? All right, well, it's struggling, but you can see in a very big of a blur that it's actually positioned here and here. So what I'm going to do instead then is I'll switch to the front camera to the side, and that will let you see a bit better. There we go. So there it is. It is pretty well supported. Angle wise from the side, that brace is not hitting anything. From the front underneath, as you can see there, not an issue. From the front, it's pretty well supported. So yeah, I think it came out pretty well. I mean, that is GoPro turning itself off, but yeah, certainly works. So I think in terms of as far as an experiment goes, and oh look, it's fixed itself. So you know, it's definitely big and wide enough to be able to support a full-size keyboard, and it's pretty sturdy. It's not really going anywhere, and there's plenty of space at the front if you do want to live life a little bit more and have it at a more slight forward angle, or it's a thicker board as well. It wasn't the hardest thing to make. Obviously, there's some quality matters, and I wasn't taking super amounts of care. And obviously, there's also a skill issue here, because I'm not the world's greatest woodworker by far. But it's definitely something fun to work through and design and make. I've got obviously some pencil marks here and everything else. But do you want a plan for this? Do you want me to draft it up, draw it up, and make it available? If you do, so that you can try and make something like this yourself in your own workshop with some basic hand tools. As you can see, it didn't really need anything more than some saws, some angle measurement tools. You could use a file or sandpaper to clean off the edges instead of using a hand plane. You can, you know, use all sorts of other more basic stuff if you don't want to get really heavy into the woodworking tools, and it will do the job. But you definitely do probably need a chisel to get in to chisel out the slots in this, because there's not really many other options to be able to cut out the inside wastes once you actually saw it in. I mean, you can technically do it with like a coping saw or a fret saw. So you cut in and then you can saw across that way, but it won't necessarily give you as clean an edge if you don't take a bit of time. You can file it, of course. You can also file that flat and straight. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you want me to draft up the angles and the dimensions of this, and then you can basically go out and get yourself some 12mm ply if you want it in 12mm. Obviously, thicknesses here and whatnot are going to be related to the thickness of your material. You can obviously use thicker material, thinner material, but you'll just have to compensate for that. Yeah, pretty straightforward. All right, well, thank you very much for coming along and checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed the process of me knocking together this, working it out, putting it together, figuring it out, and ending up with a usable, workable stand to add to my collection of other stands, because I've got the one from Idyllic and I've also got the one from Laser Ninja that's just hanging out in the shed. But what I might do actually with this, I might give it away. There is a keyboard meetup happening very soon in Sydney. Is it in Sydney? I think it's in Sydney. And I did say that I was going to supply a prize for it. So as far as a bit of, keyboard community prize goes, maybe a door prize, a booby prize, whatever you want to call it, a bit of a fun prize. If I release this video first, then people will know that this is the prize. Otherwise, if I release it after or when the actual meetup is on, then they'll have the surprise of discovering what it actually is. So we'll see. Okay, that's it. Enough of me blabbing on. Thanks very much. Love you, appreciate you, and of course, as always, until next time, happy clacking.